welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we're back. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. I hope you guys
are
having
enjoying
a great
or
weekend.
remembering your fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think Eve's going to go first this week. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to figure out my knitting.
Beth and Naomi have plenty of stories, so she's trying to rush us through our... I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so I did not spend any time, actually. I spent a little bit of time sewing. I was going to do some quilting, and I said, no, I have other things I want to sew. So I have been cutting a lot of fabric. I have the bags for these 4 Notions bags all cut out, and I will take a picture of them. But I showed you the fabrics a couple weeks ago. Was it a month ago? I don't know. A while back.
Look back in our archives.
Yeah. And I finished one bag. And
that is so pretty.
That one of flowers, or
look at the screen, Beth.
I can't see what they are.
They're flowers.
Yeah.
Like peonies.
They just look like...
They're flowers.
They just look like pink blobs. Man.
They're pink blobs. Okay, so this fabric that's right here, on the other side of it, it looks very, very, very similar.
Oh.
Let's just say that.
The back side.
The only thing is...
Yeah,
the wrong side. The only thing is that these little... You'll see it with the picture. These little dots are metallic on this side, and on the other side they just look like little shadows.
Oh no, you sewed the thing inside out.
One panel of the inside of it, I sewed it inside out, and as I was doing the final stitch around to stitch the inside and everything closed, I went, that's not right. Fortunately, it was at a stage where it was relatively easy for me to
fix it. You took out Jack the Ripper?
I was like... But it was such a beautiful fabric. You know, I told myself, well, you stop buying fabrics that look almost the same or the same on the back, right? This one... Yeah, this one has, from here you can just see, you know, kind of tan. Has a similar type fabric, so I'm going to have to be really careful. So, I have them all cut out, the interfacing sewn on, and I had them stacked here to sew. It is so hot in this room in the afternoon. And I was like, yeah, I can't sew in here right now. I wanted to, and I'd come and I'd sew for about 10-15 minutes and go, I'm too hot.
It's pretty brutal.
And for how early in our hot season it is, it's, yeah, but we might get some rain this week.
When I had to make a quick drive before this recording. I was like, wow, it looks like it might rain.
Yeah, we're supposed to get rain this weekend. So yesterday I was driving back from my physical therapy appointment, and these little things kept falling on the windshield. I went, I think that's rain. But I mean, it was just a little drop here and there. It wasn't actually rain. It was just teasing us. So then, on Daisy May, I got as far as putting the other top of her ear in. Not very far at all. This is the Daisy May by Stitching with the Housewives. And I enjoyed working on this, but I was like, I was wanting to work on, you know, a little bit of all this stuff every day, or try to work all the time on one thing and then the next day another thing. Well, you remember I said, no, I'm just going to leave this white. I changed it. And I changed it to I did some more work on this as well, but I changed it to DMC satin. Now I was at the attic yesterday, and I actually looked for some silk that I thought the color would be good. I didn't take this with me because I just thought about it at the last minute, but I think the satin looks pretty good.
Satin, and so you just did
Lean
you,
it up.
you
I can't
decide
see
to
in the
use
light.
Did you decide to use the étoile after all, or not?
No, I have to give it back to you.
Oh yeah. And so that's different than on the border.
Yes,
This, yeah,
that's why you
yeah,
can
you can
see.
see it. It's very shiny.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and because I kept looking at it, going, I can't see it. I mean, I could, but it was just like wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to stitch the rest of that in something I'm not happy with. So I spent a lot of time trying different combinations, different stuff. Again, if I had just picked something that would work, I'd be done with this already.
It's kind of hard to tell a lot of times because you just, it's something looks
No, I
good.
meant
But
the fabric.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
But I just really love the way the colors look on
Yeah,
this
it's
fabric.
really nice.
So,
You can make it work.
and yeah, it's not red, white, and blue for 4th of July, but to me,
It's nice. It looks very.
It does look
It's-
red, white. It looks red, white. And blue.
yeah, it's my aesthetic.
It looks patriotic for sure.
Yeah, and that leads me to my aesthetic.
So is that your camp project? The
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of cross stitch camp, last year's summer cross stitch camp. These are my pieces. This was June, so it's been a year. I haven't fully finished this. I need to quit teasing Beth if I don't
pull
actually
it back.
do
You
it.
can't see it there. Yeah, the whale and the light bulb. So
Well,
cute.
the light bulb, Maria Bravko, Cute Patterns by Maria. I think I paid $3 for this pattern. I'm like, I love her patterns. I think she needs to charge more. I don't want to pay more, but I think she needs to charge more. And this was my June cross stitch
chicken-
camp piece.
Chicken.
A designer you haven't stitched before. This was something inspired by somebody else, and I saw this pattern on the floss tube and fell in love with it. I went and bought it like that same day.
That's cute.
But
What's it called?
whale and light bulb.
No.
She was
The
talking
Oh,
about.
the chicken. This chicken, that's by Twin Peak Primitives, and this was the first one of theirs that I stitched, and this is called Coop Parade. And
Is it chicken parade? It's not chicken parade.
and the one in front is
The little
Just
tiny-
Nan's
little tiny one. In
little, I don't remember what kind of mouse it is, but one of her mice. And okay, so I've been doing my berry sal, and I have a finish. Yay!
Oh
So-
yeah.
So this is more summer, please, and let me tell you, I love this pattern. I'm glad you guys can see what the whole thing looks like. I made so many mistakes in this. Some are visible still. Some unintentional pattern changes. So remember last time I was talking about this wheel well and how I had gone to, if I had realized a different mistake, I would have put this wheel well back one more stitch. Turns out that I think I started with the roof. It's one stitch too short, this crossways. But of course, I did the roof and the trees and the top section of this thing. I was not going to take all that out. There was just absolutely no way. And I didn't realize it until I was ready to go the one right by the window. And I was like, that count is not right. So what I did was this, in the front portion was 3 the front portion is over here. Sorry. It's backwards to me. The front portion was 3 stitches wide here, and I just made it 2 so the window and the door would fit correctly. And I went over one of the stitches up here of the green onion.
I've done that before.
So,
Like,
but
stitch over it and make it the right color.
there it is, all done.
Yay.
S'more summer, please. And I can't wait to finish this
Yes,
with the tiny little
that's the
s'mores.
one that you have to build a little s'mores.
Build the little s'mores.
Let me see it up close. I only saw it in pictures so far. Oh, that's so cute. That's the kind of camper I want. The little lantern.
The trailer hitch.
Oh, so cute.
The only thing, and I realized that the reason she didn't put it in was because of the space. But I wish there was a little campfire down here,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But the space, it just wouldn't fit.
For the
So,
berry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the picture, it's right at the tip.
You could make a campfire on the top.
Well, yeah, with the little s'mores.
Yeah.
I was already thinking about that. So I had purchased the springberry wool from Ruby Mountain Dye Company. Remember I showed you and used it. And I purchased the summer. I'm not showing you all of that again. But the next one coming up is this. It's just blue on white. I got my white, 32 count Lugana white. Just that way you can see it better. I've been all excited to start, and it's charted in Classic Colorworks Deep Blue Sea. There's nothing wrong with that. But as I was saying, from this, my aesthetic leans toward teal.
Yeah.
So I want to stitch it in teal. But these are the colors that I have already. And I was like, none of those are really...
Well, I think
For the tippy top, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
thought
I'm
it looked
thinking,
good.
I'm gonna use
I was
maybe this one.
yeah, I was gonna say I think
And it's going to be far enough away.
yeah, it's
gonna
you know because it's on the
complement
top and the stitching is
I am
down
not
below,
using
so.
a giant flower. And Helen D's version, she didn't like the flower either. She did something else. I'm like, I'm not sure about that one either. So I don't know what I'm going to do on the top.
We'll see.
What is it? What's the berry again?
It says good old summertime. Sounds to me like it
You can
needs a
make a
little
seashell.
Yeah.
You can make
seashell would
a
be
A
seashell.
seashell would be cool.
Mhm.
I could even get a real one and stitch it on top.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah, actually, that's
I have
actually a
some
pretty
in-
good idea.
some of the
With a hole in them.
Charms or
Charms.
something,
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's a good idea. So that leads me to, I went to the attic yesterday because I got a phone call that my autumn berry pattern came in.
Oh, let me see.
So let me just say that we have mentioned that I wish the whole pattern, that there was a picture of the whole pattern. Now I realize she just has the front and the back, but one of the patterns on this has some instructions that I went, huh? And I've read it now maybe 4 times. Beth read it. I don't understand. And I can't see a picture of where it is on the finished piece
to see what
to be able to wrap my mind around
What she's talking about.
what she's
Yeah.
talking about.
So these are autumn, and then happy fall, y'all, and the pick of the patch.
The pick of the patch is the one that's
this
the
one
issue.
here.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and I've gotten out some ideas for fabrics, you know. But
She
I
just
think,
used sort of white cream and like a gray, huh?
yeah. But the one that's just one color there, the middle one,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm gonna stitch it on this color, Murano Corée. This is mustard, and use like a light
pretty.
yellow thread.
Yeah.
Won't that be pretty?
That'll be nice. I'm opening this because I want to see.
And
You've opened it and read it.
I've opened it and read it 1,000 times, and I still don't understand. And I'm thinking about using this Rustico for the one with the pumpkin. It's an 18 count instead of a 32 count, but it should come out the same size. And I can't decide on the last one if I want to use one of these others that I've used before. So I think the colors, the fabrics chosen, but there's a list this long of Weeks Dye Works, and I was there at the attic and I was about to buy them all, and I said, you know what? This is several different colors of orange and kind of a reddish, you know, color, and, you know, a bluish. I'm like, I think for most of those, I have fancy floss that'll work. And if I don't, I probably have the DMC alternative. And I was like, I gotta just not buy any more of those threads. It's not that I have any problem with using fancy floss, but every single one of her patterns has a whole different color scheme because it's, you know, spring, summer, fall. I have to put the brakes on somewhere because I'm also getting, you know, fabric and colors for other stuff. And
Did you do a winter yet?
No, I haven't even purchased pattern. I don't even know what it looks like.
Oh.
Helen D may have shown it. I don't know, but there is a winter coming up. But so a couple weeks ago on Stitching with the Housewives, you know, I always enter their giveaways. I never win anything. I don't always enter them, but often. And I heard my name called, and I was like, holy cow. So I came in, one of their gingham little bags. Isn't this cute?
Cute.
Yeah. And what I won was for the upcoming Fat Quarter Shop Boo Crew Halloween Stitch-a-long, this awesome, what's it called? They're Mad for Plaid.
Yeah.
Oh, is that still in a bag or is that
Yeah,
the
it's
bag?
still in a plastic bag.
Oh, you haven't taken it out yet.
Mad for Plaid project bag.
Unboxing.
And the DMC floss pack.
Oh, that's neat.
They had the fancy floss one, but I won the DMC one. But what's really nice is that if you want to, you can stitch on this.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And you can see through it, so you can see what's in it. And here's the DMC floss pack. And I got a little a little ghost zipper pull.
Let me see. Oh, because this is for a Halloween thing?
Mm-hmm.
You told me already, but I mean, you said it, but I wasn't listening.
And you can get
That's
a pumpkin needle minder. I don't
Aw.
think I'm going to get a pumpkin needle minder. We have like 5 over there if I want. But this, you know, and I was thinking, well, you know, I might do the stitch along, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be on a purple.
Ooh.
I have this purple that I dyed. I think I'm going to use this.
Yeah.
Pretty.
So I know it's like longer than it is tall. I downloaded the materials and I'm like, I have them all.
Is it a
Okay.
mystery?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. At the beginning of it is a ghost and the word and the letter B. So it's called Boo Crew. So I imagine that it says Boo Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bunch of ghosts or
And
something.
yeah, some stuff, I don't know. That leans heavily toward purple because Kimberly Jolly doesn't like purple and she switched all her purples to orange. Anyway, that was so exciting. And then for cross stitch camp, I was not sure what I wanted to do for August. I thought maybe I could stitch on linen. That's something it's, something you've never done before. A thread or a designer or a fabric. And when I was at the attic, I saw this adorable pattern of Neighborhood Dog Show by Little House Needlework. So I haven't done any of their patterns ever. And these dogs are just so stinking cute.
I like that.
And I thought, I'll do that. So I went ahead and picked up that pattern. And doing so much stitching that my WIP-GO is not going anywhere. Oops, it's upside down.
What was your goal on that?
10 days. And then I have 5 days on the other one.
Mm.
And I've probably stitched on this 6, maybe 7 days. Definitely not 10. Tried to keep track.
Well, you
but-
still have,
Is
2
that for
weeks.
June? Or,
Mhm.
Oh, you have time.
So I'm going to work on it here. And my sub goal to myself is to finish this one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to 5 days left, I'm going to just switch to the other one and work on it every day. So that is me.
So I'm gonna go next. If I can organize my thoughts here. So this week has been a little odd because, as you can see on my shirt that I'm wearing,
Am I 65?
65. So we went to the Albuquerque Youth Symphony Program reunion, and it was actually the 67th year, but they had already done the T-shirts
printed the
because they had planned to do the reunion in 2020,
Yeah, so it got all wet.
and of course everything got all messed up.
But we'll share stories about that.
Yeah, so I was out of town this past weekend, but also the weekend before. So the weekend before, of course, I did my update from Naomi's house, and then this last weekend we were in Albuquerque, and I didn't do an update on the weekend because Saturday we spent basically all day, doing reunion things. So I bought this little travel cup thing there at the reunion.
Why don't you save the rest of that for
And
stories?
yeah, and all my other junk here. So I'm trying to get it out of the way so I can get to my stitching. But so anyway, so like I said, I was all discombobulated this past weekend, but some stuff that I did. So Eve had talked about things we did for cross stitch camp, things that we were done for cross stitch camp.
I asked her to pull hers out, and
They're like,
What you mean last year?
yeah, my last summer stuff, I think is all in the garage with some of my finishing things. I did the January Rabbit. I used the 32 count Murano Carré. That was the first time I used that fabric, but I think the first one was was it the June one?
inspired.
July. Anyway.
You did.
Oh,
you did
yeah,
the
yeah.
Angels.
Yeah, the Blackrock Angels was something that was inspired by someone else. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name now. Ginger Gerald had shown 2 of the Blackrock Angels a long time ago on his Floss Tube channel, and I'd seen them there, and they're by Prairie Schooler. And so I had bought them, and I'd done about 5 of the 8 ones. So I did a 6th one for Cross Stitch Camp. And since then, I've finished all 8 of them, plus there was another one on one of those little cards that Prairie Schooler has put out, those little mini cards. So I've done 9 of them. I haven't FFO'd them because I never FFO anything. Very rarely. But so anyway, I did all that for the June Cross Stitch Camp. For July, I did was a new designer, and that was, oh gosh, I can't think of their name now. I just looked at
These
it on
would
my
have been
phone.
things to look up before the
Well,
recording.
I just asked.
I did.
her in the morning.
I looked at it, but it was Wendy.
Which piece?
The little spring thing with the bunnies in the garden. It just says spring on it. Mini spring is what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Mini spring. And I know the girl's name is Wendy, and I can't think of. It's Mini Spring by something or other by Wendy. I don't know.
If we can figure it out, Naomi will text it right here.
Yeah, I have it. I do have it on my phone. And then I did the January Rabbit, and that was stitch with something you've never done, used before. And so one thing that I had not done before was using the Murano Crochet, the 32 count Murano Crochet from Hobby Lobby. It was new. I had never seen it before until that summer. But then I used silk. They were the Rabbit is by Ink Circles, and they're all charted in silks. And I've never used silk before. I always used whatever DMC alternative or whatever. But then so there's there's 12 of them, of course, one for every month, and I went ahead and bought the silks for all of them. So I've been working on them little by little this year, but I did the January one last year, last August. So we also had Cross Stitch Camp in February, the winter camp, and it was to stitch something in one color, and I did this one. This is Gathering Berries by
We'll have it texted right here.
Yeah. Oh, my, I haven't thought about this in a while. I can see her name, but I can't say it. Anyway, that's that one. So I did this last February. And so this summer, my June Cross Stitch Camp piece is this Good Must I Be by, this is from the Mary Noel collection, Good Must I Be by Homespun Elegance, designed by Sandra Sullivan. So it's this very rustic looking, old fashioned looking design. It's Santa. And so I did this on 22 count Hardinger, so it's very tiny. And I really should have only used one thread and a smaller needle, because it was easy enough when I started off here with I started with the frame, the border, and the words and all that. It was very easy. But when I got the Santa over here, it goes very tight and very dense and very hard to see, and And this is like tea-dyed Hardinger that I had for a long time, and I hadn't used it in all the time that I've had it. So I thought it looks really good for this design idea, and everything. But like I said, it was very tiny. I should have just used one thread to do it. But live and learn. So and on this design down here, the designer had put her grandson's name. And so they had provided an alphabet and numbers, to personalize it or whatever. Because down here it says I had put 2020 on there for the year. But instead I chose to put my cats' names, Puck and Snug, down there. And I put them in green on the pattern. I know it says to use DMC 3371, but I used the green instead, so it would show up better. I liked it better in green. So this is done. My June camp project is done.
She's gonna go put it in the garage.
Yes, with all my other stuff I finished.
I offer all the time. If you want to make that a pillow, I'll be happy to sew it for you.
Yeah.
She finished for me for Christmas. She finished this cute little snowman.
I still have the buttons to sew on that.
Like,
Oh, that's another thing on this design. I hadn't noticed it. There's like a Santa charm or something on here, and I I'm not kind of ambivalent about that, but there is a little space there. So when we were at the attic, I was kind of looking to see if I could see something appropriate, but I didn't see anything offhand, and I didn't want to fussle around. And it's a very small space, so I was going to see if I have something, already.
You don't like the Santa?
No, I might put a Santa. I just want to see if I have something.
If it's too big for that space.
I have something small enough for that little space. But then also, so I've been working on my WIP-GO stuff. The kitty I showed last time, however long ago it was. So, and I haven't worked on that since then because I've been working on all this other stuff because I wanted to finish the camp project. And then the other WIP-GO thing I had was this monster wonder whale. I'm going to take it out of the hoop because I've done some things. I've made pretty good progress. And I think today or maybe this weekend will be my, I'll finish the 10 days on it. So I have added,
Wow.
I finished
Done a lot.
I finished the spout over here.
That's cool.
And the bottom of this one boat. And then there's going to be another 2 boats down here under the whale in these little gaps that are under here. No, this one here, and then maybe both of those gaps. I don't know. I don't remember. But so I did some. There were some little like Quaker-like designs here and there that I did as I could reach them from the whale. So there's a little one over here by the spout, and this big tree thing I just now finished. And I did this little Quaker thing under here. So I actually have to choose a different, I was looking at the pattern and I think I have to, choose another color because this orange color, there's some other things that are done in it, but I have to have, oops, upside down. I have to have something to, to count from. They're too far apart to just stick in there. And I don't want to make a mistake. So, anyway, so this is Monster Wonder Whale. It's backwards. You're looking at the back. Sorry. Showing off my backside. Monster Wonder Whale by Owl Forest Embroidery. And this is, I think...
Her backside looks almost exactly like the backside.
We were talking about...
I could only tell because of the needle minder.
That's nice. We were talking about what people must have thought of whales when back before we understood it, and a monster is a good description, I bet.
Yeah, so there's a house on his back and another couple of trees and then a whole bunch of trees here on top of his tail. So there's that. So I have, like I said, just either today is the last day or maybe this weekend. I have my calendar where I've been writing this down. So, and then I have Kitty Kitty to work on, and that I think I've done about 3 days on that. So I think if you know, I can hit my 10 days for each of them before the month is over, then I'll have like maybe 2 or 3 days at the end of the month left that I can work on. I did start make a start on the June Rabbit, so I may continue to work on that or continue to work on whatever I have left of these. But also in the meantime, I was trying to sit out here to make sure my dad was doing okay while Eve had some appointments and stuff. So I've been working on this. This is my, oh gosh, a few years ago in 2018, I had come up with this design. This is for Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. I had done this and I had stitched it, but I had used, for the font, I had used a font from another design that I have.
Can I see that?
Uh-huh. And I took it with me. I had finished it in 2018, and in 2019, when I went to Stitch Nanigans, I took it with me for the little brag table, and a lady that I was sitting with said, you should sell that pattern. And I didn't want to because I had borrowed the font. I used somebody else's font, so I didn't think that would be right. So I had wanted to redesign the font, and then I also was not 100% happy with all of the design stuff aspects of it.
This looks really good.
So yeah, so I redesigned it. I redid the water. And some of the other things, and so the only thing that's hard is there's a lot of stitching.
Yeah,
in the grass and that vine,
fun,
but
that's what's fun though. Is that sheep missing a head?
No, that's his head. That's his body. Jesus is carrying him on his shoulder. He's carrying him over his back
over
like this.
his
neck.
Oh, yeah. I thought he
Yeah.
had 2 sheep and one was missing a head. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah. So this is very tiny, but I'm going to try to take a picture. But this is, so I could fit it all on one page. This doesn't have the grids and the symbols and stuff. But so I have to. What I want to do is I want to stitch it, and I have to look at the stitch count and see, how big a piece of fabric I need and all that kind of stuff. But what's nice about this is, like, if you were to buy it, if you wanted to just stitch one section, you could, whichever section.
Like a 3-panel thing.
Yeah.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you could do it as 3 separate panels. You could do it as one large panel.
You should have
whatever.
brought out the original.
Yeah, I meant to bring out the original one.
The original one she did is quite large.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Oh, it's sitting over there. Anyway, but yeah, so
I think that's a great. I like that what you did with the water.
Yeah, I like the water
as opposed to what was in the other one.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah. So so that's one thing I did over the course of several days. I had started it some time ago, but then the last I don't know, couple days I finished it, and I almost had I did have a tragedy, because I had sort of guesstimated at how many stitches I would need, and then when I very first started it, and then I had figured out the font and blah blah blah, this and that and the other, and the spacing and how I wanted to do it, and so I had like several lines at the bottom, rows at the bottom that I wasn't using. And I thought, well, I want to, eliminate those because, I didn't want to have all this extra space at the end. So I had all these empty rows at the bottom.
Oh,
and
we took a pause to bring the original.
So on PC Stitch, one of the things you can do is you can tell it to, eliminate or add rows and columns or whatever. And so I had counted, because like you could say, take 10 rows or, rows out starting at row blah, blah, blah. So I had counted down and I thought I had the right place and I told it to take 10 rows out or something. And then I was like, when I was, looking at it, I thought, why is that cross at the end? It looked like a red cross. It was short, and I thought, why is that short? And I thought, and the little heart here was too close to the bottom border, and I thought, why is that wrong? And then I looked at it, and it was like this last line of the text was missing. And what I had done is I had miscounted, I guess, somehow, and I had eliminated the last rows of the thing, and I had, since then, I had hit save or whatever, so I couldn't even undo what I had done.
Oh, no.
So
Yes,
I
you
had
can.
to
It'll let you undo it.
and no, it wouldn't undo that. I had already, the undo button
was grayed out.
disabled it, so yeah.
You have to do it again.
Because I hit undo, and after a while it stopped, and I hadn't gone, I had already saved.
You would
Yeah.
done, you would if you
Yeah.
do too much after you make your mistake, it won't let you do it.
Yeah. I had done several things, like I said, and I had saved it before, and so I had to add it back in and redo it and hope that I had gotten it right, but I think I did. It was like. But so this is the original version of it, and I think what I've done is smaller. So this is what I did originally.
We'll put this up, but it'll probably take several photos.
Yeah. But then, like I said, I redid it, and so I think it's smaller because this is about 230, 240 columns. I mean rows long and 140 stitches, across. So I think it's smaller than this version of it. But anyway, so yeah. So that's one thing I did. And then the other thing was I went shopping. Naomi and I went to Joann's before we went to Albuquerque because my cousin's birthday was coming up, and we had talked with her before about cross stitch or whatever, and so we wanted to find something simple for her to work on. So we picked up some stuff for her, and while I was there, I got another kit. I got this little DMC kit.
That's cute. Oh, I told her, here, you need this.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
So
It's
it has an elephant,
It's
and
so cute.
yeah. So it comes with little stuff. It comes with a little hoop to put it in, and Ada cloth and threads and a needle and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very cute. And I bought also some DMC threads, and then I bought some Monaco 28 count Monaco. Monica. And
Your best friend, Monica.
and then when Eve got the call from the attic, she goes, "The attic called me. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yes, I can. I want to come." Because I have nothing better to do, and money burning a hole in my pocket. So so one thing that I did was when I was looking for to see if they had an appropriate Santa button, I bought this little elephant button. You can't see it because it's too small, but I saw this little elephant button, and I had to buy it.
Aww.
So at some point I'll figure out what to use it on, but so I bought this button.
Cross stitch you just got.
Yeah, and then I bought some. Oh yeah, I bought some threads that they had. This a couple of them I bought for a couple of patterns that I picked up that I'll show you in a second, and others were things that were on my list. And of course, there's I need to look online to see at like at 1 2 2 Stitch or whatever to see if I can find the last hold list. I kind of wanted to buy them from the attic just to help just to support my local needle workshop, but they haven't had them. They're gassed. Most of the ones I'm looking for are gassed Gentle Arts threads that are, everybody's having trouble getting them in. So, but I'm hoping that maybe I can find them somewhere.
Anyway, I'll take a picture of my knitting. I'm taking a progress photo.
But so I got a couple. This is chalk and chamomile Gentle Arts, and I think I might already have them, but I thought, I'll grab them while I can. And then some Weeks Dye Works colors. And one of the reasons that I bought them was I bought a whole bunch of patterns.
Oh my God!
So,
Girl, don't take her to the attic anymore.
So the current series, that Cottage Garden Samplings, A Year in the Woods. So this is the next one, the Bald Eagle.
What's the matter, Eve? Did you make a mistake? I just heard a large sigh from that end of the table.
So this is the Bald Eagle. The bear is the one I bought just not too long ago. And this is the Bald Eagle. It's really, really
wow,
nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so I also have, from Cottage Garden Samplings, a beautiful Santa that they did Time for All Seasons series. So the Santa was number 12, but I also saw these at the attic.
Gosh.
So this is number 1. It's Snow Time, the snowman.
Oh, that's
So cute.
It's really cute.
With cardinals.
And number 5, called Beesy Spring. This little bee and a whole bunch of little flowers, and there's
I love with the
bee skiff
snowman.
there. Isn't
He's
it
so cute. Did you see that, Eve?
Mm-hmm. I saw him yesterday. I'm driving down the road going.
And this one is number 6, Strawberry Harvest.
Oh, cute.
So pretty.
That's really beautiful.
And then
Turkey's
this one, this is the
amazing.
one that really caught my eye.
I love the border. That.
Was Turkey Day. Look at that. Turkey. Yeah.
I love
Isn't
it.
it
I want
beautiful?
that.
Beautiful, beautiful colors.
That is so pretty.
I told her she needs a will so that she can say who's going to get all these kitted
Yes.
up projects.
Yeah, because she won't stitch them before she dies.
Well, there's just not enough days.
Yeah.
No, there is.
She'd have to be 200.
You are definitely Sable.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's stash acquired beyond life expectancy. I'm very close, but I'm younger than you, so
Yeah.
I have 7 years
like-
later.
I thought I was doing good just with the, and I have a reason why I bought both patterns. One for the Berry Sal and one for Cross Stitch Camp, and I'm trying to be, stop getting all these patterns. Not that I don't, if you can afford it, go for it. But
Yeah.
I'm trying not to spend the money, right? And then she comes out of there with all those patterns. I'm like, girl.
Well, there's a sign thing there at the attic. I didn't see it this time, but I didn't really look. I think it's by the Print of Hair, but it's like a little wooden sign that says something like Cross Stitch Collector. I was very tempted. It's very expensive, but I was very tempted to buy it. It's like, that's what I am.
Yeah.
Because because there is the phenomenon, and I think on Pam and Steph Just Keep Stitching, they've talked about it, but the idea of basically collecting all the patterns. You might not stitch them all, but you want to have them all, and that's kind of how I am about these, because it's a lot of stitting. These patterns.
I a lot of times, because I'm the same way about knitting patterns and yarn and all the things I want to do. I picture this. Well, hello, doggy. Ow, ow, you're hurting me. I picture this like future, like there's some future in which I have nothing else to do, and I'm going to have all this time, and I'm going to make all these things. I don't know when that will be.
Well,
but, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm gonna have a lake house, and when I'm not fishing, I'm gonna sit there and be knitting, and I'll just and no one will bother me, and maybe I'll have a housekeeper and a cook, and then I could just knit or just do whatever and have all the time.
You know, when I first
It's
started,
a vision. It's a vision.
First started cross stitching and stuff. You know, of course I was doing it in the time that when I was taking auditions and trying to get an orchestra job, and then I got a job in Arkansas, and I was not working full time.
Yeah. So
I was, you know, cross stitching and stuff like that. That's when I did that wedding sampler for you, and that's when I started the baby sampler for Eli. but then at some point I started working full time, and I would, you know, blah blah this and blah blah that. So I would stitch once in a while.
Yeah.
But not regularly. But then since I retired from the symphony,
yeah,
that's all I've been doing.
You should declare a year, maybe 2023, where you just don't buy anything. and you know, like, words. Well, I know, and I'm just saying, like, and work on, you know, maybe not a WIP-GO, but like a new start go, and work on all the stuff you have. Yeah. See, just to see. I don't know. Are you done?
Yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah,
because I got a lot to talk about. Okay, first of all, I just have to say, sorry we popped up a day early on your on your YouTube feed. That was a mistake. But anyway.
It was because it's like, you know, midnight this day, and I'm like,
and tomorrow, yeah. Anyway, it was just funny because we were in Albuquerque and it popped up on Saturday morning, and I was like, wasn't that supposed to be Sunday? Better early than late. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed your extra day with us. So when last we recorded, we were out of town, and I was debating what pattern do I take with me? What pattern do I take with me? So I decided to take Rachel's shawl, and actually I was able to get a lot done on it, although, as is with this pattern, you can't really tell. But I actually was able to finish a whole nother repeat of the pattern. So that's an accomplishment to me. Look at it. It's getting big, and you can see the color change, because here's the beginning. Dark purple, and it's not the light, it's the yarn, and so the ball is getting smaller, and that's fun. And so I was able to work on it. I did have there was a couple of times when I was but because I was so tired.
Yeah,
but then when we got home, actually I was in between, you know, I was when I got home, I was able to sit, you know, and knit with Mark and catch up with him, and I got a lot done. So so I was working on that. That was my trip project, and it wasn't too bad because I was, you know, we were at my cousin and my aunt's house, and I was able to have my iPad out with me, which, you know, has the pattern on it, and it was good. It was good. So then, what else happened? Oh, so before I went to Albuquerque, I started to spin again because I had wanted to spin a lot this year, and I had started, and then I just kind of fell out of it. But I was able to finish one 4-ounce package of this. I'll put a close-up of it. This is this same fiber. It's Cotswold, which is a new fiber for me. Last year I discovered it, and I had a little sample, and I was like, what is this? And so I went to buy some more of it. I bought 6 of these of regular Cotswold, and I bought 2, and I didn't remember that I only bought 2. This is Cotswold, but it's a Hogget fleece, which is the very first shearing of a sheep, which is always softer than subsequent shearings. So this 4-ounce amount, and this one is the Hogget. So I have to, because I thought when I saw that on the label, when I returned to my spinning the other day, I thought all of the Cotswold I bought was Hogget. But then I went to look this morning, and I was like, nope, only these 2, and the other 6 are regular. So I'm very curious to see, once I spin these up and then spin the regular, what the difference, how it feels differently. Because then maybe I'll use these 2 for maybe hat and gloves or something, and then use the other for a sweater. My plan is to make a sweater out of this Cotswold. And if you've known me for very long, you know that I have an entire fleece worth of fiber from a sheep called Naomi, who is a Jacob sheep, and it's dark brown. And I thought to myself the other night,
ow! Sorry.
I thought I wanted to have a whole project of that. I have more than enough for a sweater for that. But I thought to myself, what if I made a sweater out of this gray Cotswold, and I used I spun up one of the Jacob fleece of Naomi's, and I used it as a contrast, around the sleeves and around the collar and around the bottom as a contrast. I thought that might be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I started spinning again with the idea of that sweater workshop book in mind. This came out nice and consistent. I feel like I'm in a good place spinning wise. But it was funny because I need to order some more of these bobbins. I only have 3 for my big spinning wheel. And I had this started, and then I had 2 others that I had started and pulled off the wheel because I got distracted. So I had to use my little spinning wheel to ply what was on my big spool so I could have room to ply this. But anyway, and I realized I was spinning this. I went ahead and finished it and plied it together, but I do not remember what this is. I think it's Rommeldale. It's black. It's really pretty, but I don't remember what it is. It's just random wool. Okay, and then my aunt very graciously gave me some money. So that was fun. So I came home and I was like, I have money. Okay, so you remember the disaster of Hannah's cotton linen top that I made. It was a disaster. And it's in her room now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know. Maybe I'll chop the top off and make a bag out of the bottom. I don't know. But it's sitting there. And
like people used to make purses out of jeans.
Yeah. Oh, and she put a pair of her jeans, and she wants me to make her a bag. So I'm going to do that. And then I thought I could weave a strap for it because I got those cards. Uh-huh. Anyway, I'm crazy. So anyway, so I decided I'm going to find her another summer top, and I found this pattern. It is called Simply Perfect Top. I'll put a photo of the or actually I can just hold it up because it's a pretty simple picture. It's just a sleeveless top. It has a garter stitch. It's mostly stocking. It has garter stitch panels on the sides and down the center and then up across the shoulders. What I like about this pattern is that it is done from the top down seamlessly. It's hard to understand right now because you start at the back of the neck here and then you go forward on this side and you put those on hold and then you go forward on this side and then somehow you do the back and then eventually you join around. I've been reading it. I don't understand it exactly, so I'm just going to walk through it. But I went to the yarn shop and was there for a long time. And I found some yarn that is bamboo and cotton blend. And they had a sample, which I love at my yarn shop. They had a sample knit up in it, and I could feel the drape of it. And I was like, this is good. So I picked out 4 colors. I picked out a sand, a beautiful kind of darkish blue, a beautiful burgundy maroon color, purplish, and then a really pretty sage color. And I sent Hannah pictures, and I said, pick it. And she looked at all those 3 beautiful colors, and she picked the sand. And just like my dad, I'm like, what is it with you people? So she was, I don't have a tan top. So this is look at me, I made a gauge swatch. Aren't you proud of me? So I'm like, I am going to be a good girl and figure out gauge. So this is my gauge swatch. But what I like about it also is this is washed and blocked, and you can see the drape on it. Isn't that nice? It's so nice, and it feels good. Pass it. So this it's called Bamboo Pop, and it is 50 cotton, 50 bamboo, and takes about. I bought 3 of these.
I approve.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be really nice. So
It feels good.
yeah. So my plan is to finish it and send it probably right to Norfolk, where she'll have a top to wear there. So while she's in her music festival. So that's my swatch, and I was like, that's only $10 a ball, which I was like really happy about. So I was like, I have more money. What should I do with it? And I was remembering when I went camping, at the last minute while we were packing, I'm like, it's going to be cold up there at night. I may want a hat. And it was so funny because my family, and so I don't know if you remember that puffy jacket, the puffy green jacket I took to New Mexico when the girls and I went. I had just bought it for that trip. It was like puffy, and it has a hood, and it's got like fleece lining in the hood, and it was really warm. And I was like, I don't know if I should take this jacket. And they're like, you're not going to need it. And Hannah's like, I know what 40 degrees feels like. And, and I was like, well, but, 40 degrees when you're walking to class is different from 40 degrees when you're sleeping in it and having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Well, I took the coat. I vacuum sealed it in a vacuum bag and took it. I was the only one who was warm at 2 o'clock in the morning going to the bathroom. So anyway, long story short, I also took a little knit hat. The only knit hat I've ever made for myself is this cheap acrylic yarn. I'm not dissing acrylic yarn. Acrylic yarn has its place. But I made this as an experiment just to learn. It's a spiral hat. So you knit the ribbing, and then you get like 3 colors. One is the ribbon color and 2 others. And you knit for a third of the stitches, and you add a new color, and you knit for a third, and you add the third color. And then you knit around, and when you get to the next color, you knit with that until you get to the next one, and it makes this beautiful spiral. And I had read about it. This was years and years ago, and I made myself this little hat. And I never wear it. It's like black, pink, and blue. It's weird. Anyway, it's like a neon pink and a neon blue. So it was in the back of my drawer, so I took it with me. And I didn't wear it out and about, but at night, when I was so cold, I fished it out of my clothes bag and stuck it on my head, and I slept in it every night. But it was very loose ribbing, and so I was like, Tootsie, where she's wearing her wig to bed, and she turns her head, and the wig, that's how I was. And it would pop off, and so I was like, running around the yarn store. I said, you know what? I'm going to make myself a hat. I'm going to make myself a wool hat. And I bought this.
Do you remember those hats that Grandma used to make? The crocheted hats with the loops?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she made them all the time and would give them to people. And I'm like, I don't want to wear that hat.
Yeah, they were kind of ugly.
Well, they were just...
They reminded me of swim caps.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had it was crocheted.
They were well constructed. They fit well, and they were, covered and everything, but they had these loops all over them.
It was probably the 70s influencing that more than anything. But anyway, this is a WIP-GO. It has no dye lot. It's so beautiful. I love WIP-GO yarn. Can we talk about this? This is Rios, and it's called... What does that mean? Poción? P-O-C-I-O-N? I don't know what that means. I'll look it up. But, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And so I'm going to knit myself a nice little hat to wear in the mountains. Because I'm not going to wear it in Arizona. Maybe I will. if I have to be outside in February. At my last job, we had a box office outside in February. And I would have wore a hat like this. But anyway, I'm going to make myself a pretty hat. Isn't it pretty? I love WIP-GO
remember
yarn.
In Florida doing art shows in December. Freezing.
Yeah.
Right? And people, because it's never cold in Florida, right? They would be coming in December in short shorts and all that. And I'm like...
So, this is the beginning of Hannah's sweater. I started the garter stitch. This green is not part of the sweater. It's a provisional cast on because you pick up these stitches and go down later. But this is the top back, and this is I just bound off while Beth was talking. I bound off these stitches to make the back of the neck, and then these are the 2 shoulder pieces. And now I'm going to go forward, basically from here, go down and make it wide to come right here like that. So that's that progress.
I don't remember you telling me you got accent colors to go with it. Did you say you got
No, I said that's a provisional cast on.
Oh.
So I use scrap yarn. I use the rainbow yarn from the little girl sweater. I use that as my scrap yarn.
I like it on there. It looks good.
No, I'm not going to leave the rainbow yarn on.
Yeah, leave the rainbow yarn. It looks great.
So, so what you do is you use a crochet hook to see. You start with a little crochet chain here, and then after you do a few stitches like that, then you basically crocheting around the knitting needle, and it creates stitches that you can then knit into. And then later, after I build so this is back here like this, and it's going to come forward. And after I build this part, then I'm going to put those on hold, and then I'm going to come here and pick up the tan stitches along this and pull out the rainbow yarn, and then these will be live stitches here, and then I can knit down the back until everything matches, and then you knit it around. So no, I will not leave the rainbow yarn.
But it looks good.
So that is me. So Crazy Me has a new start, but I'm excited about this because I don't know how long it's going to take me. It's not very big. And of course I was agonizing over the size because she wears a small, but the small finished garment would have been right at her measurements, and they said to go 1 inch or 2 of positive ease, so I'm doing the medium. I think it'll be good. But anyway, I think that's everything for me. Oh, but I had got a new, this will transition into our stories. I got a new yarn bag because I got this bag from the reunion. And I'm like, this is a great yarn bag.
So did you, right?
Yeah, we each got one of these. We got shirts. And I don't know what I did with my pin.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's in my purse. We got little pins. Because I guess, I didn't think about it, but I'm like, everyone in Albuquerque does pins because of the Balloon Fiesta. The Balloon Fiesta has pins as like a thing. So we got little pins, little enamel pins. And we had fun. We were busy, dead, tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we went, we left early Friday morning, and Friday night there was a recital. So Beth and I signed up very optimistically to play on the alumni recital. And then we didn't practice anything. And a week before, I was like...
You were out of town all the time.
Well, I was out of town and just...
But we signed up for the reunion like months
ages ago. It's our fault.
Yeah.
100%. But then we just put it off. We talked about what should we play, I don't know. And then a week beforehand, I was like, you need to email them and get out, because anything we do now will be not good quality. So we got out of that, and I'm so glad we did, actually, because original plan was to leave on Thursday, and spend Thursday night, and then get ready on Friday for the performance Friday night. But my dad had a very important appointment on Thursday, so we opted to go in Friday. So if we had to play that night, it would have been awful after driving all day. So so it was good.
And the people who played in it sounded really good.
They were really good, So I was like, I'm so glad we didn't play. So that was fun, though. And then Saturday morning, we started with rehearsals, and we rehearsed.
We rehearsed all morning, and then we had a lunch break and rehearsed all afternoon. Like 3 hours in the morning, a lunch break, and 3 hours in the afternoon.
3.5 hours.
Something,
Anyway, in the afternoon, and it was fun because in an orchestra, there's all the strings. There was 160, they said.
Something like
that of the full orchestra. The brass was pretty full. There were extra tubas and extra trombones, I think, and maybe extra trumpets. But there were just enough horns, I think. And then in the woodwinds, most orchestras have 2 oboes, 2 flutes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons. And so we had 2 oboes, 2 flutes, 2 clarinets, and 5 bassoons. We killed it. But it was really fun. So it was me, and then a gentleman named Ian, who reminded me, and I I had kind of remembered this, but not really. That I gave him his first bassoon lessons.
Yeah, well,
in
I
his
knew
life.
I knew his name.
I knew his name. Yeah,
I
I knew his
recognized
name,
his name,
and I
but-
could see his young face. And when I saw him, I recognized his old face. But I knew that he and I had played together or done something together. But my youth is very foggy, and he was like, you gave me my first bassoon lessons, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And he says, I've recovered. But he was so sweet. And so he was sitting there, and he and I played first, and then Beth was playing second, and then the two young men next to her were, 19 and 16 graduates?
Yeah.
2019 and 2016?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And so they were very young. One was in college and one was done with college.
Yeah.
But not playing. The one that was done with college had decided not to pursue a professional career, but he had majored in music. And the one that was still in college was University of Wisconsin or something like that.
I think so.
And they were so sweet, really sweet kids. And
and he covered the contra parts.
if they were contra bassoon, contra bassoon is a bassoon that's twice as long as a regular bassoon. Go look up bassoons on Google, and then the contra bassoon plays twice as low.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a contra; he just was covering the parts. And then. So it was a lot of fun. And actually, one of the conductors posted a little snippet on Instagram. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And you could hear the bassoon section really well. And it was like, yes. So we played 7 pieces with 4 different conductors. And one of them was a violin concerto of one of the students who had won the concerto the year the pandemic shut everything down. So she won the concerto competition but didn't get to play. So they put her on the alumni. And she was good.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. And then,
So you said you were going to tell a story about the 65 versus...
Oh, well,
67?
yeah, so they printed the T-shirts and the bags and everything was 65, and then...
Because they were going to do the
Because they were
reunion
going to do it
summer.
in 2020.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we know it's the 67th, but we're calling it the 65th because...
Because we already have the T-shirts.
we already have the T-shirts printed. It was really neat because it wasn't a reunion like you think of a class reunion.
High school reunion, yeah.
Because everyone there graduated a different year. And actually, there was only a couple of I was 1985. There was only a couple of 1985 folks. And they remembered me, but I didn't remember them. But it didn't really matter because everyone connected through music and our shared experience of Albuquerque Symphony. And so it was like, didn't matter. And we all just became friends again. And like, oh, and we went here on our tour, and we went there on our tour. And so it was a really fun experience. Yeah. My only complaint, I have one complaint, and that is that the concert at the hall, they required tickets, but they were free tickets. Okay, great. And you can download them. Okay, great. So my aunts wanted to go, and I didn't know that before we went to Albuquerque. I didn't know if they'd be free or whatever. So I didn't print out tickets or anything. So I got the tickets while we were in Albuquerque on my phone. And then I didn't realize or snap that my aunt didn't have a printer that's functional. And then, so I kind of was like vague about how I was actually going to get my little old aunts into the hall. And so the day of the concert, the afternoon of the concert, I dropped Beth off at the stage door, and then my aunts and I, fortunately they're good walkers. I'm like, is it okay if we're going to walk all the way around the hall? They're like, we walk every morning, everywhere. I'm like, okay. So we walked all the way around, and we get to the front, and we get in there, and there's these two ladies. These two ladies just keeping the gate. They're like, you have to have masks on. Okay, we put our masks on. And I'm like, okay, I need help because I need to get them in, but the tickets are on my phone. Is the box office open? Like, if you're requiring tickets, and here I am a box office person, I'm like, if you're requiring tickets, you need to have someone in that box office available. Because, you know, they're
Things
like,
happen.
well, here's the QR code. You can just get it on their phone. And I'm like, they don't. My one aunt didn't have her phone with her because she didn't know how to use it. And the other aunt had it. But I'm like, she doesn't know how to use a QR code and all that. So she's like, well, you can just text it to her or email it to her. And I was like, okay. So I went to the side and I texted her my link with her tickets, and I go to click the link on her phone. And I didn't know this, but she has no data. She has cell service, so she can call from her phone. But she doesn't have data.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that doesn't work. And I didn't think now. And I didn't have time because I needed to go back and get ready to perform. So I was getting kind of miffed. I was like, I'm going to write this in the survey.
Yeah,
like, you
there wasn't
have
a way
to have some recourse for someone who does not have a cell phone. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if it's free concert, then why not just say, it's okay, I'll vouch for her and get her in.
Yeah.
Like, no one helped me.
Yeah, there were, because the reason that they needed a ticket was just for head count, basically.
Yeah.
For the hall. But it's like, okay, so,
they didn't take me, if they had taken me to an usher, I would have said, here's these two people, here's their tickets. I cannot be here. Scan them right now.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't offer that to me. They didn't. So I was a little bit getting twisted. Well, I turn around, and there is Daniel, one of the bassoonists, and his mom. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, So I met his mom, and I was like, are you his mom? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know you, and you don't know these old ladies. But will you do me a favor? I said, I explained what the problem was. I said, is there any way that you could get 2 extra tickets and just get them in the door? And she's like, absolutely. So I introduced, this is us, this is Mary Lou, this is Carmen, da da da. And Dallas was very like, I'll stick with you, it's fine. And then they went and sat wherever.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful to her afterward. I was giving her a hug. Like, thank you for taking care of my aunts, for adopting my aunts for 5 minutes. So that worked out. But I'm going to write that in the survey.
But it only worked out because you happened to run into them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, she would have had to accost a stranger or something.
Well, I would have asked Ian's wife.
Yeah.
Because she was there and I had met her. But still, I was like, this is a little bit not right. They should have had a stack of printed tickets. Why can't you have a stack of if it's general admission and
a free concert
and you're requiring a ticket and it's free, why not have a stack of printed tickets for someone who shows up who has no cell phone, or their cell phone's dead, or the cell phone's broken, or they just get them in the door?
Because people who are younger, it does not occur to them that there are people that do not use cell phones or data or
some time ago, I was having a problem. So when I lived in Little Rock, I was having a problem with my computer not recognizing my iPod or something like that, some kind of issue. And so I happened to be at where we had an Apple store there, and I happened to walk in there. And I was asking him about that, and this guy was like, "Well, just bring your computer and you will look at it." And I'm like, "It's a desktop. It's not a laptop. I can't just bring my computer in." And they just assumed that everybody has a laptop or whatever. And I'm like, "Yeah, no." And so
people do.
Well, I
know.
But so it's like
So I was a little frustrated with that because I'm like, especially as a box office person, we would have had some recourse. Even if you don't have the box office itself open, you would have someone from the university who is demanding that we have tickets be there to help. So I was a little bit upset. But it worked out. And and then as I'm getting on stage, I see my aunts in like the 4th row, in the center on the 4th row. And I was like, why are they sitting there? Like, at an orchestra concert, don't sit in the front row. Because all you can see is the feet of the string players. So, but I was like, well, whatever. So after the concert, my Aunt Mary goes, "It was really good, but we couldn't see you at all." And I said, "That's because you sat in the 4th row. Like, yeah, all we could see was the people." I'm like, "I know." When I saw you sitting there, I thought you're not gonna be able to see me, but I didn't say anything. But it was. I think the concert went really well.
Yeah.
I screwed up one of my solos.
Well, there was some piece we were playing, and I was like, "That's not right." But it's like,
I know. After a point, you just let it go into the universe.
Yeah. Well,
I was getting. Well, I had several solos,
yeah.
and I was getting a little stressed about it. And then I thought, you know what? No.
Well,
but I did. I was so mad. It was, I think, in the Dvorak. What is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, it had a G sharp, and I went to finger the G sharp, and my pinky fell off. So I played a G natural.
Well,
but
and it's everybody in the orchestra. You have a whole variety of levels of involvement. Like they had a little survey thing that where you could like put in your
level of
playing. Like oh, I play professionally, or oh, I haven't played in such and such a long, or like one of them was, I think I can find my instrument somewhere.
But so that just determined.
Yeah. So there was so that you had like I said a wide variety of ability and whatever.
But what's nice is the conductors were like, "You're gonna miss notes. It's okay."
Yeah.
and the way I looked at it was like, if there's 5 of us,
somebody's gonna
get each note at some point.
That's the way I looked at it.
It was so funny because in the very first piece, it was the John Williams Cowboys, which is very hard. We played something, and I hear Ian next to me saying a bad word, and I was like, I'm going to remember that my whole life. You just whispering a bad word in my ear in the middle of a concert. I love it. It was just hysterical.
I was telling Naomi, there was some piece that I played, back in my professional days that I don't remember what piece it was, but everybody in the woodwind section, you just hear bang, 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 and with the same bad word, because everybody missed some aspects. You just heard all the way down the line.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I played professionally for 25 years, and actually most of the pieces of music that we played, I played at some point. In concerts and stuff, but I really felt in several of those pieces that loss of dexterity that I have, because once upon a time I used to be able to play those, and then there were times when I was just totally faking it in those pieces because I just could not. Yeah. I couldn't. Part of it is
okay, here's a secret I'm going to tell our viewers, the 300 of you, 333 of you. I couldn't play the Cowboys. There were like whole sections that I faked. I got like the highlights. I made it here and I made it there. In between, not so much. But yeah. Ian was a great assistant first because he. And I feel bad because I was city principal, and I did really well on my solos. But the technical stuff, I didn't spend the time on it. Well, I'll do better next time.
We've always said in orchestra, and the I think the conductor says something similar, that like anybody sitting out there in the audience with a score going, "Oh, they didn't play that note right."
Not that day.
Yeah.
A different day maybe, but not that day. But no, it was good, and we also sampled several samples of green chili throughout the city.
Yes,
so that was good.
I ate green chili every single day that I was out there. Friday night, we stopped at Blake's Lottaburger, and I had a green chili cheeseburger.
Saturday night we had enchiladas.
Yeah, so we had a little catered.
It was a really cool place.
Yeah.
Glorietta Station, very weird but cool.
And then
event place with like old neon and old cars and stuff like that. It was really cool.
And then Sunday after the concert, we went to El Pinto,
Yeah.
and I had a green chili enchilada. And then on Monday, before we left, we went to eat at a place called Taqueria, and I had green chili that morning too.
Let's just say we stopped a lot on the way home.
So
that drive home took forever.
And it was very windy.
I noticed.
It was windy.
You said we're expecting to be there, 2:45.
Yeah,
and
we
you got here at 6.
because every time we stopped, there was something, and it took forever. And then you had the audacity to sleep the last hour and a half. Not only that,
she does
to
that all the
complain
time.
about the music I was playing when you finally woke up. Like, I don't care if you hate this music. You were asleep for the last hour and a half while I drove by myself and tried to keep myself awake. So you get to listen to crappy music that you hate now. That you wake up in town when I don't need your help anymore. One time you were so offended because the car moved and you're like, you're waking you're jostling me, waking up.
Yeah.
Or something happened, you're like, oh, you scared me. And I was like, I am driving a car. Go home and nap. I'm so mad at you.
I only vaguely remember that part.
At one time, she was sleeping, and I'm driving along, and all of a sudden she goes, and woke herself up. I laughed for 5 minutes about that. It was so funny. She's like, oh, and then you did it again. You're like, I can't help it.
She got offended with me because I told her one time we were driving somewhere. I said, "You're not allowed to sleep. You sit there. You're not allowed to sleep."
Oh,
It's because we were so stuffed full of food because we ate it. It was after we ate it at Dairy Queen, and you're like, I shouldn't have eaten that much.
No, yeah.
And I was like, how much more food can I shove into my body before, oh.
Yeah.
We ate too much that day.
For me the blizzard that I had too, the ice cream.
Knocked you out.
She came home and she's like, "I am not interested in eating anything."
I was like, I'm not eating dinner.
Because we ate a taqueria, and that was, you couldn't not eat that food. And then we stopped somewhere, and then you bought trail mix.
Yeah, and I was just munching it without thinking.
All the way, and then
we stopped.
Were like, let's have lunch. I don't know why. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
that ride took forever.
And
every time we stopped, I'm like, well, now it looks like we'll be here. We'll be there at this time. And like, well, now it looks like this time. Well.
What was that guy? Malcolm Gladwell?
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah. I was, I follow Kitten Lady, and one of her cats.
Oh, but first, one of the things we did was on the way home, listen to an audiobook by Malcolm Gladwell called Miracle and Wonder. I highly recommend. If you like Paul Simon at all, you should listen to that. It's on Audible. Because it's basically it's not really an audio book. It's someone's like, this isn't not complaining.
Yeah.
This isn't an audio book. It's a podcast. I'm like, well, who cares? It's really great. But it's about Paul Simon. So he's just there talking about his songs. He'll sing, he'll play, he'll talk, and it was really great.
Yeah.
But we listened to that, and Beth had never heard Malcolm Gladwell before.
Yeah. So I was reading a Kitten Lady post, and she was talking about one of her cats is getting radiation treatments for cancer, whatever. And so she was, but it's a long drive from where she lives, right? And she has to do it every day for 19 days or whatever. God. Yeah. So she was like, does anybody, have any audiobook recommendations or blah, blah, blah. And so I recommended that because she's, of course, the daughter of Tommy Shaw that was in Styx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she would love that.
Yeah, so I didn't know whether she had heard of it or not before, but yeah. So
Come here,
I don't know if she'd see the comment or whatever, but I put it on there, so
Yeah.
But
we should probably go.
We should. We've been having a long time.
I just wanted to talk about
Ouch.
my swag. So I got this, like I said, this little bottle,
Dog is scratching.
and we had these little name tags that came on a lanyard, but I bought a different lanyard that has the
Youth
AYS logo on it, and then of course the bag that Naomi was talking about, and then I bought an additional bag.
Because you got to have bags. I also bought one of these,
Yeah.
but I forgot to bring
This
it.
is a little
It's
canvas,
just a little
tote
canvas bag.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
show it to my husband. 'Cause he thinks I have a bag problem. I'm a bag lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we had a ball, and we're
Yeah.
glad to be back, and hopefully things should be a little bit more normal from the next few weeks until July.
What is normal?
You know, like I'm home.
A dog is losing her mind
Dog's
about
going
something.
crazy over there. Anyway, we're so glad to be back.
Yes.
Thank you to all of our subscribers. We enjoyed meeting with you every week. And like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Are you going to look at the camera, Eve? Look at the camera. Bye.